China. China. War. With China. War. The Chinese Communist Party. The CCP. The Chinese. Hopefully, I got my search engine optimization. So let's jump in. According to a news article from this morning, conflict with China is inevitable unless the United States changes course, Beijing's new foreign minister warns. The United States and China are hurtling toward inevitable confrontation and conflict unless Washington changes course. Beijing's new foreign minister warned on Tuesday. That's today. Now in China, Tuesday's like almost over. So, you know, but hey, I just woke up, okay? Not really. I've been up for like 5 hours. The fiery comments from Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang underlined the deepening tensions between the world's two largest economies in the wake of the surveillance balloon saga. I mean, this is great language. This is great language. The surveillance balloon saga, because that's really what it was. It's like an anime arc, you know? There was a solid, like, 5 days there where it was like, balloons, balloons, UFOs, balloons, China, right? And then everyone just stopped caring. The media stopped reporting about them. Like, how is it that the U.S. shot down, like, 4 UFOs? Well, I guess one of them is an IFO, identified flying object. But 3 UFOs and an IFO, all in the span of a week. And then they stopped? Right? So there's a couple options here. One, they often see things floating in the sky. I mean, we found reports that Donald Trump ignored several Chinese weather balloons during his administration, which is presumably what they do normally. Or they shoot them down normally, but there's not much press attention. But because of the Chinese balloon, the balloon, they felt the need to just ramp things up for no reason. And then it stopped. So you're telling me we had 4 flying objects in North American airspace. One of them was in Canada. North American airspace, 4 flying objects in 5 days, and now there's none? There's just none left? We ran out. So there were 4 in 5 days, or what? Maybe it was a week. I don't know. 4 in a week. And then now 0 for 2 weeks. And 0 for years beforehand. Like, I don't know, man. I personally struggle to believe that the United States somehow fended off a Chinese invasion like a Red Dawn scenario, 4 in a week. And then China just gave up. They just, don't need to surveil them anymore. Now, again, I don't believe that these are even surveillance balloons. I believe that they're weather balloons. Also, who cares if they're surveillance balloons? Let's be honest, right? Who cares? Okay, let's imagine they have a camera on a balloon. Okay. Have you ever heard of fucking Google Maps? You dumb motherfuckers. Have you ever heard of satellites? China has satellites orbiting the motherfucking Earth. But they're gonna send a balloon? I mean, again, it's the dumbest fucking shit in the world. So, but hey, whatever. They echoed similarly sharp remarks a day earlier by China's leader Xi Jinping, blaming U.S. efforts to contain China for deteriorating relations and suggesting Beijing would increasingly seek to push back. Qin's news conference, this is the new foreign minister, his first since taking office in December, took place in Beijing on the sidelines of the annual meeting of China's rubber-stamped legislature, where Xi is expected to complete the biggest government reshuffle in a decade. In a wide-ranging rebuke of U.S. policies, Keane, who until recently was the Chinese ambassador to the United States, questioned President Joe Biden's assertion that the U.S. seeks competition with China but not conflict. In fact, the U.S.'s side, so-called competition is all-round containment and suppression. A zero-sum game, he said, suggesting that conflict may be unavoidable unless Washington stops trying to suppress Beijing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know what that means when it comes to the word suppress. I quite honestly, and maybe I'm just not educated enough. It's totally possible. But the entire American economy is dependent on China. We outsourced so many jobs from this country to various countries, and we import almost everything from China. Our economy and China's economy are intertwined like a chain link fence. Okay? Have you ever noticed whenever you go to the store, everything made in China, made in China, made in China, made in China, everything? Our entire economy depends on China, and China's economy depends on us as of this moment. So I don't quite honestly understand what suppress means in this context. I don't really know. Other than, of course, geopolitical garbage, right? Saying, oh, we're going to go to Taiwan over and over again just to provoke them. Even though, let's be honest, Taiwan is its own country. Let's be real. Stop with that fucking horse crap, tanky fucking garbage. Okay? If China has neglected to govern Taiwan for 80 years, it's not part of China. It's just a fact. I'm sorry. So cry about it. Shut the fuck up. All right. But, hey, whatever. You can say that the U.S. should just not even get involved. I would agree with that. The U.S. shouldn't get involved. But that does not mean that Taiwan is a part of China. Let's be honest. Okay, so. But what else is the U.S. doing? The U.S. is upset about China angling their support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's kind of lukewarm support, you know. They're like, yeah, we'll help you out, but, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing this. And if, you know, you better hurry up, you know, Putin, you better hurry up a little bit, right? You know, but hey, they are on the side of Russia. And of course, the United States is geopolitically opposed in almost every way to Russia. So more of a classic villain than China. But hey, China's a classic villain too. We all got to watch Red Dawn. Who wants to watch Red Dawn? Anybody? I'm not talking about the one with the guy from Drake and Josh, who, by the way, has anyone seen Josh Peck lately? Hey, I'm just throwing that one out there. But I'm talking about the original Red Dawn, you know, where like the Chinese fall from the sky and take over the fucking, like, the country. Anyone see that movie? Pretty horrible fucking movie, I'm not gonna lie. But it's hilarious. Anyway, so it's a semi-classic villain, but Americans love to hate Russia more than they hate China. At least in my estimation. But, again, the United States is undoubtedly, I'm willing to debate this, but I think you're wrong if you disagree with me. The United States is a belligerent on the world stage. What is a belligerent? A belligerent is a country that attempts to provoke and start wars and conflicts. That is the United States. The United States is a global belligerent, but so is Russia. I mean, look at what fucking is going on in Ukraine. Russia is absolutely also a belligerent. Look at what's going on with Crimea, as of course, 9 years ago when Crimea was annexed. And look at just pretty much anything Russia's been doing. So Russia is a confirmed belligerent. The United States is also a confirmed belligerent. But what about China? I would say China is not. Now, I think China is doing a lot of very bizarre stuff with things like the Belt and Road Initiative, where they are kind of trying to get a lot of African countries that are underdeveloped kind of to be in sort of a semi-quasi debt slavery situation, but at the very least, they are actually helping people. So it's hard to say that that's belligerent, even though maybe 30 years down the line it could turn into something crazy. But as of this moment, they are helping people in a lot of underdeveloped countries. So that's another thing. China, again, when it comes to Taiwan, pretty belligerent, but that's kind of like a local kind of thing going on there. And, it's really hard to say whether or not that has implications worldwide, though, you can make the same argument about Russia and Ukraine, though I do believe it is a little bit different. Ukraine is an actual country. Taiwan is in this weird quasi thing. So, you can make an argument either which way. But my opinion here is that I trust the Chinese government more than I trust the United States government or, insert 90 greater than signs here, the Russian government when it comes to geopolitics. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't like the Chinese government. I think all three of these fucking governments, throw India in there, Brazil's actually not looking so bad anymore, but, throw India in there. That country's fucking going crazy right now with their leadership, right? These countries are mostly run by morons, but I do think China is the least dangerous. As of this moment, that is my opinion. And so as I read the news frequently as I do, I see so much sentiment in the United States, especially coming down from United States politicians, that we need to go to war with China. The Chinese are evil. China this, China that, China. We're not talking about the shit you put in the cabinet with the glass, right? And, you look at the fancy fucking bowls, but you're not allowed to touch that bowl. Why is that called China, by the way? Does anyone know? Does anyone have any story when you were a kid and you you wanted to make cereal, but there was no bowls available, so you got to find China to put some cereal in? I did that as a kid. I don't know. I want to finish that story, but anyway. So my opinion here, the United States needs to calm the motherfuck down. Now again, are they? Nah, they're not going to calm down. Why? Because the United States government is operated by a bunch of Looney Tunes. Bunch of cartoon characters. A bunch of fucking freaks are operating the U.S. government. So, but I do think it's interesting that Chinese foreign minister is essentially saying, hey, United States, calm the fuck down, motherfucker! Calm the fuck down. And I agree on this one. Now, again, I know a lot of people in the world today, nuance is dead, gray is dead, it's black, it's white, it's this, it's that. You can say, I don't like the government of China. They've committed atrocities, especially domestically. But geopolitically, I believe they are better and more reasonable than the United States. I'm allowed to say that. So, I know a lot of people get really pissed off when you take a nuanced perspective, especially foreign politics. Foreign politics, to me, as someone born and raised in America, and has only recently, over the last 5 years of my life, been really delving into foreign politics, geopolitics, right, that kind of stuff. The idea that you can kind of just boil everything down to a black and white thing is loony motherfucking tunes. It turns you into one of those motherfuckers that's like, Ukraine is all run by neo-Nazis and Russia's doing a cleansing of Nazis or whatever. Those people, freaks, total fucking morons. It leads you to bizarre conclusions that are just really just uneducated. I think people need to really, especially Americans, if you're born and raised in the United States, you have been heavily propagandized. Now again, I say this all the time. Schools are designed not only to teach you things that are wrong, but to remove and restrict your ability to actually learn things after you graduate, because you'll have been taught things that are just so astronomically incorrect that unless you just fully crystallize in your brain, oh, I was lied to in school, it's going to be really hard to actually study things. So that's why when people talk about foreign politics, geopolitics in the United States, oftentimes you see this crazy ass fucking bullshit. Now again, there's a lot of people in a lot of countries that say a lot of crazy ass bullshit when it comes to geopolitics. So it's not just an American thing. But in America, we need to understand, yes, we were lied to. Everything they told us, everything, 100% of the things that they told us about anything related to geopolitics in school, it's a lie. You were lied to. All right, I need you to understand that. You got to start over. If you want to actually understand the world, not just your country, the world, you need to understand you got to educate yourself, and everything you know is wrong. Okay? It's like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward tries to tell SpongeBob, erase your mind, empty your mind, everything but fine dining and breathing, right? That's what you need to do. Empty your mind of everything you learned in grade school about geopolitics, You know, because if you take a grade school, high school education to its logical conclusion, hey, you might also believe in some fucked up shit like the United States was justified using nuclear bombs. Why? Hey, I don't know. You can't explain it. Why? Because you never did any actual research into it. You're an uneducated Looney Tune. You were just lied to in school and you never actually thought about thinking about that position. But hey, that's just one more example. But again, the Chinese government is not perfect. No shit, jackass. But the United States government is worse in this scenario. And they need to calm the fuck down. I think everyone needs to calm the fuck down. But specifically the United States and Russia, calm the fuck down. Okay, motherfuckers? Jesus fucking Christ. Smoke some weed, you know, pop some fucking mushrooms, and just fucking chill for once in your goddamn fucking life. Jesus Christ, okay? Not everything is Civilization 5, okay, motherfucker? But there you go.